We are back at Pigeon Mountain Trading Company in Lafayette, and I've got to tell you, I have fallen in love with this place. Everything having to do with bees, everything having to do with honey, and a lot of things that you would not think of. You can find them all right here. We have found Taylor Jackson, and she is the resident honey and bee expert. It's good to be back with you, Taylor. Hey, you were telling me that this is kind of a new or somewhat of a different modification to a conventional beehive.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Okay, so a little bit about, everybody knows about the colony collapse disorder we're having an issue with, and we're losing honeybees. So one of the biggest issues with commercial beekeeping or beekeeping in your backyard is honeybees will swarm and leave. And due to deforestation, they leave and they don't have anywhere to go because we've destroyed their natural habitat.
Sure.
So to kind of combat that, we have a new product in that prevents them from being able to swarm. So we lose less honeybees that way. So that's what this is on the front of this hive here.
And this just slides on?
It does. Easy peasy, slides on the front of the hive. What it does is prevents them from being able to swarm out of the hive. Basically, they swarm inside this box where you can relocate them to a good location instead of them going off and dying somewhere.
All right, now let's talk about this particular hive itself. It has a tin roof. Who doesn't love a tin roof? The construction of the hive itself, this looks extremely well made. What kind of wood do you use or do you recommend, and why?
Here at Pigeon Mountain, we only use cypress. If you know anything about wood and how it's made up, cypress is a more compact wood, which keeps water from getting into the pores of the wood and making it rot. So cypress hives will last twice, 3 times as long out in the weather as like a pine hive would.
What about the tin roof?
So the tin roof is for two things. Keeps water from sitting on the wood when it rains, to keep it from rotting, and then it also reflects heat to keep the hive cool on the inside.
What is the best temperature, the best outside ambient temperature that bees will thrive in?
I always recommend putting your hives in full sunlight. Full sun.
The hotter the better.
The hotter the better, because it helps prevent pests. We humans have brought in a lot of pests that honeybees are not used to, which is causing a lot of issues with losing bee colonies as well.
All right, now what about the equipment? Once the hive here is chock full of honey, you've got to run it through an extractor or a masher or some other piece of equipment. You have all of that here.
We do. You have a couple options when it comes to getting your honey out of the hive. You can do what we call crush and strain, where you just squeeze the comb and put it through a strainer and it drains that way. Or you can put it through an extractor, which we'll show you in a minute. We have a lot of different extractors here, and you just spin the honey out of the comb, and then you can reuse that comb in the hive, which is better for the bees. We also have we have all the strainers you might need. We have all the bottles you might need, and all the other equipment for extracting.
So essentially with beekeeping, there's a lot of, for lack of a better word, recycling from the wax, from the hives, from the food, everything. You can kind of use it again and again and again.
Yes, especially the wax. That's what takes the bees the longest to build up in the springtime, is building the honeycomb out. So if you can recycle that instead of crushing it, that saves the bees a lot of time in the spring.
And when it comes to cooking, and you know I love to cook, when it comes to cooking, anything that calls for sugar, you can use honey here from Pigeon Mountain.
You can use it as a replacement for sugar.
And it makes it taste better, and honey goes a little bit further than conventional sugar does.
Yeah, like 1 tablespoon of honey equals like 4 or 5 tablespoons of sugar, so you use way less to get the same flavor.
And of course, if you're making pancakes or waffles, honey is so much better than syrup.
Yes, it is.
And you have got different flavors of honey down here. You said you had, what, 14 varieties?
Around 14.
And it comes in all sizes. All kinds of containers. If you're a klutz like me, you may not want a glass kind of container.
We do have plastic,
You do have plastic, and of course you have the outfits like this.
Yeah, we have a lot of different varieties of our beekeeping suits. Even if you don't want to wear like a whole suit, we do carry just like the veils, like what I usually wear. This is actually our new one. This is ventilated. We all know it gets super hot here in Georgia.
Correct.
It's like me, especially working out in the apiary 6-7 hours a day. It gets a little miserable. So this is ventilated, so you can feel a breeze through it. We do have like the traditional cotton suits. We have the ventilated. We have another one that's plastic ventilated. And then all the accessories you'd need too, like gloves and just the veils and things like that.
And you've got classes that pretty much run continuously. If you're just getting your feet wet in the beekeeping area, or you're an experienced pro, I bet you can pick up some great tips from Taylor and the staff down here at Pigeon Mountain. You're also going to be doing a honeybee festival here in
Yes.
Lafayette coming up in early June. Give me a little bit about that.
Well, last year was the first year for the Honeybee Festival, and it really went well. We had like 30,000 people come through that day.
Did you have a queen bee for the honeybee festival?
Our manager was the queen bee that
okay.
day, I'll tell you that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's an arts and crafts festival, basically. We're kind of like the center of it. We're right here in the middle. It's on Main Street out front, so we're kind of like the center. Everybody comes through this way.
Well, I got to tell you, anything and everything having to do with bees, with honey, you can learn down here. You can actually get started. It's a great family hobby, and you'd be surprised how infectious it is.
Yes, I enjoy it a lot. Even though I have so many, it's kind of overwhelming. I really enjoy working with the bees.
And it's a wonderful place. Let me encourage you to come down here. And this is, again, Pigeon Mountain Trading Company. They have the fancy place and the fancy names out back, but everything you could ever imagine is right here. And you all have an incredible sense of humor. And you know, they whistle while they work. What did they whistle? Don't worry.
Oh gosh,
be
you found the bumper
happy.
sticker.
Don't worry, be happy. It's Pigeon Mountain Trading Company. Check out their website, which is
PigeonMountainTrading.com.
PigeonMountainTrading.com. Stick around. We've got more of Let's Chat coming up right after this. You gonna whistle it with me?
Whistle.